What's happening, guys? Safety Liner C2 here. Let's look at some pictures that y'all submitted. Real quick, don't forget that if you have a picture that you want to submit, something for lots of lots, bus stuff for sale, or any one of my videos, you can put it in the video request form found in the description of any one of my videos. Alright, so this first picture comes from Beta. It is a 2022 C2 from Massachusetts. We have the yellow roof, black hood, and single stop sign. If we didn't know the bus was from Massachusetts, that would be a pretty strong indicator that this is a New England bus. And speaking of the stop sign, I've never really liked that style on the C2s. I just don't think that it fits well compared to the ones with the square bulbs. Otherwise, there's not too much to point out here, just a contracted New England bus. Will submitted a really interesting one. This is a Iowa Thomas 3800. Now, obviously, the thing to point out here is the wheelchair lift. First off, we can see that it's a double door wheelchair lift, and notice how much bigger it is than a normal sized wheelchair lift. The reason this one is so much bigger is because this one has a elevator lift. Now I'll throw up some pictures of what the elevator lift looks like, and essentially the main difference is on other wheelchair lifts you would have to wait for the ramp to unfold and then go down to the ground, but with the elevator lift there was no unfolding and it just went straight to the ground and pretty much acted as part of the floor in the bus. That definitely wasn't a common option at this time. This bus would be from the mid to late 90s, possibly early 2000s. And while I have seen other buses of this era with elevator lifts, normally they would be found on buses older than this. One of the other pictures that was submitted with that shows the back of the bus. LED taillights is an interesting choice. I wouldn't have put my money on that. But the main thing to point out here is the larger emergency exit. I've never cared for this option. It doesn't look right in my opinion. And I'm glad that Thomas decided that that was not going to be standard on all of their buses. Next, we have a picture from Wayne S series on Flickr. This is a beautiful 2017 second gen CE. Now apparently this was a former Indiana bus that was traded to a Pennsylvania contractor. Cowl turn signals, crossing gate. If you look directly above the crossing gate, we also have the extra warning lights down there at the bottom. I guess 13 is the bus number. I don't really like how they just put 13 on the license plate and nowhere else on the bus. I mean, this bus is like so empty looking that I would almost say that it looks kind of like a dealer bus. One other thing I just noticed is that we have the extra turn signals by the hood latch. I love seeing that on second gens and I wish that they made that standard on there. I don't think I have too much more to say. This is a really sharp second gen CE, and even if there's not a whole lot on it, I think that it just works as is. Now we are taking a look at an EF that was submitted by Bus16 YouTube. Now this bus is a 2012 and it is from Minnesota. We've looked at some other Minnesota buses before. I don't think we've looked at a Type D before though, so obviously there's no black hood or black grille on there. But if you take a look at the bottom of the door, you will see that they made up for it a little bit and painted the bottom of the door black. This bus has a white roof. It appears to be fully incandescent and has a crossing gate up front. It looks like this bus also could have been bought used. You can see there's a 68 up front, but it appears that there's a 15 next to the Thomas logo on the door. Otherwise, this isn't a bad looking EF in my opinion. Next up, we are looking at a Magnolia ISD ICCE submitted by Idago23. Apparently, this is one of their newest buses, and man, they downgraded their specs. I did a lots on Magnolia a while back, and while the specs are pretty much the same, they did remove the tinted windows and black window posts. Come on. Whatever, I don't make the decisions, but one thing that we can see has changed is that they added first light signs and stop signs on the buses. Dual stop signs, strobe light up top, AC. It also appears that the bus has LED warning lights. And if you take a look over on the left, you can see that there's a bus that has a striped bumper on there, which almost looks like a Sci-Fair bus. The notes also said that this could have been a Sci-Fair bus. And when I went back to look on Google Maps, I could see that the bus had tinted windows, but it didn't appear to have the black window posts. I also looked through my records and didn't see any Sci-Fair buses with those specs that sold. There weren't a whole lot of those. So I'm not really sure where that's from. Next, we're taking a look at a 2019 C2 that was submitted by Chris Safety Liner C2. This bus is in Minnesota. It has a white roof and a Cummins 6.7 with a Allison 2500, as well as blue seats and a blue interior. Apparently, it's also a first student bus, so points taken off for that. Now, a couple things to note here. First off, take a look at the bumper We have a striped bumper on there, and I don't think that's a very common thing in Minnesota. And what's even less commonly found up there is the changeable sign. I've always liked the way that those look on C2s, although you don't see it very often. But put both of those together and add in the lack of a black hood or black fenders or stuff like that, this bus just is not giving me Minnesota vibes, and I'm willing to bet that first student transferred this bus from out of state. We're moving to South Carolina and taking a look at another C2 that was submitted by Drew. It's a handy 2020 C2 with a Cummins 6.7 in it. I don't think I have anything else to say on this bus, you know. It's a clean, sharp-looking, good bus in my opinion. This picture was submitted by Rockland Bus Guy. We're moving to New York now. From left to right we have a Trans-Tech Chevy, a Collins Chevy, and then another Trans-Tech Chevy. We'll start with the Collins. We can see that this is a Haverstraw bus, you know, green bumper, green rub rails, pretty iconic in my opinion. I don't think there's much more to point out on that. Compare that to this Trans-Tech on the left though. We've got multiple cameras around the bus. We've got the stop sign with square bulbs on there. It appears there's a W in front of the number below the stop sign, so I'm guessing that this is a handicapped bus as well. And on there we can also see that the bus has LED warning lights. You know, looking at this picture, and you can really just see the variety that you can get in New York. You get, you know, some standard looking buses, and then you get buses with green rub rails and bumpers. So of course, seeing a Haverstraw bus in the mix, always love that. We're moving to Ohio now, taking a look at this first gen Vision that was submitted by that one bus guy 25. And man, this Vision has definitely seen better days. It's strange to me that this bus is approaching 20 years old. It certainly looks a lot older than that. And then on top of that, I vaguely remember first-gen Visions blowing up, so I'm old. It's really unfortunate to see the bus in this shape. The hood is just nowhere near school bus yellow. The bus is rusted out. It held up terribly, and it's just a poor example of a Vision now. This bus was submitted by Spartans. Take a look at the district name. You know I'm going to be talking for a minute. Alright, so this is a Sci-Fair CE, not just any CE. This is some of their first electric CEs. If I'm not mistaken, they ordered 10 of these buses and put them all at their newest bus garage. Honestly, the thing that surprised me most about these buses is just how long it took for them to get electric buses. For years and years, I was thinking, when's Sci-Fair gonna get an electric bus? Because it's inevitable. They finally did. At this point, they've been on the road for a couple months now. I'm willing to bet that they're going to get a mix of diesel and electric third-gen CEs, but that's for another video further down the road. Otherwise, you guys know me. I absolutely love Sci-Fair specs, not just because I went there, but because I genuinely think that they look amazing. The only thing I would change, and they made this change a couple years back, is with the warning lights. They're now strobing LED and don't have warning light covers. But otherwise, again, I'm just surprised it took them this long to get electric buses. Now we're looking at a 2005 Michigan CE that was submitted by Razor. Now this isn't as bad as the Vision we were looking at, but again, this bus has definitely seen better days. The rims are pretty rusted, the bumper and the mirror brackets aren't doing too well either. There are incandescent warning lights on this bus, as well as a light above the door. Now because of that, and what appears to be a number above the door, you can see that the IC logo is pushed back above the first window. Otherwise, pretty typical Michigan bus, but the weather there has just not treated this bus well. This bus was submitted by 2012, where we are taking a look at a 2012 Vision. Yellow rims, striped bumper, crossing gate, no warning light visors. This is a pretty obvious Florida bus right here. This bus also appears to be pretty faded. Not as bad as that last Vision, but not too much better. This bus is in its first year of being a spare, and again, yeah, I'm getting old. We're back in Minnesota now. Gerald submitted this picture of a 2024 gas Vision. I think I talked about it in the last picture video. I'm going to complain about it again. But the warning light area just looks so stupid now. From this angle, you can just see, like, how much the warning lights stick out, and it just doesn't look right. And especially with no warning light visors, it doesn't work for me. But then on the other hand, I really don't like individual warning light covers on Bluebirds, so Guess it's kind of a pick your poison. Anyways, we've got incandescent warning lights. We've got a crossing gate up front. There's an LED door light next to the door where we can also see that this is a contracted bus. And also notice where they put the single number on this bus. Above the emergency exit. It's kind of a weird place to put it. There were multiple other options on where you could do it, but I guess they decided right there was the right option. I also just noticed that they put the number above the driver's side headlight. That seems like a more normal place to put it. Other than that, yellow roof, blue bluebird, and that's about it. Alright, and we're going to call this the last one. This was submitted by Quentin, where we are taking a look at a 2021 Vision. Oh man, don't get me started on this warning light area either. This bus almost looks like the last one. It appears that these warning lights are LED though. It also has a crossing gate up front. This time the number is below the driver's side headlight. Take a look at the side of the bus where we can see that there's a single stop sign and AC on the bus. This bus also appears to have a white roof, although that could be a reflection, and it also looks like there's a green bird on there, making this a propane Vision. And there you have it. Those are all the buses that I wanted to show off. Don't forget that if you have a picture that you want to submit, you can throw it in the video request form. And with that, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe right down here. It's a magical white button that says you are now subscribed to Safetyliner C2. Make sure you comment up here, down here, over here, or over here. I don't know how they put it, I don't care where they put it. Make sure you also give this video a thumbs up, or all the pictures in the next picture video are only going to show off rusty buses. And make sure you also share this video with a friend. Show it to your mom, show it to your dad, show it to a guy on a random street. I don't care, don't let anything happen to you. So yeah guys, that's going to do it for this video, and thanks for watching.